All right, dear children, welcome back to the class. We want to have a look at this chapter, Fundamental Unit of Life. We are starting your ninth standard
Sir,
biology. Whatever ninth standard biology is there, we are going to start the first chapter that is going to be Fundamental Unit of Life. It's going to be a very, very interesting chapter. Now, right now in Mudol, just now I have explained, Mudol is our native, right? So here, the content, the biology content is very, very less. I mean, that qualitative content is very, very less here. The qualitative content. Okay, so from Kalparuksha classes, we have taken this initiative to teach you complete biology of your ninth standard by mixing it up with a higher level of biology also, which will be useful for your all competitive exams like NEET and CET. And there are so many exams like JIPMER, which are like a medical entrance test. And this will be useful for your AFMC also, Armed Force Medical College. All right. So we are going to start our biology syllabus. Are you excited, dear children, to start your biology syllabus?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
let's dig into this fundamental unit of life, cell. So everybody is going to put the heading fundamental unit of life, cell. Please put this heading fundamental unit of life, fundamental unit of life. That is cell. Before understanding what is the meaning of cell, then what is a fundamental unit of life, that is the cell only, no? So let us look at a few situations here so that the things become very clear to you. For example, a boy is walking on the streets, and he is coming here, and suddenly he sees one snake. There is a snake here. He sees a snake. Now, what will be his reaction? He'll go back, right? His legs, whatever his legs are there, he will get fearful. His heartbeat will increase by seeing the snake, and he get afraid. Due to fear, his legs will go back, right? The boy will go back or not?
Go back, Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So that boy is going
Yes,
back. Now, fundamentally, what happened? That boy went back. Fundamentally, what happened? Fundamentally, what happens? Fundamental unit of life, we say, no? Fundamentally, what happens that this boy went back? How this boy went back? That's what is very, very important, no? Now look at this. Now, through the snake, I mean, light is falling on this snake from some other source, from sun or from other some source. Light is falling on the snake or not? Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Light is falling
Yes,
on the
sir.
snake, and that light is getting reflected, and that light got reflected, that entered the eyes of this boy, no? This is reflected, right? Light, no? Yes, this is a reflected light, no? The light has fallen on the snake, and light got reflected, and it has entered the eyes of this boy, I mean, a small boy. I mean, he was going into the streets, and that light entered. Now whenever light entered into his eyes, now you have the structure of eyes, no? I mean, that you will study in 10th standard. How does a eye looks like? I mean, you can take this to be round shape, okay? So you can take this to be a little bit of a round shape like this. Okay, what is the structure of eye, and also that you will be studying in your 10th standard. So we'll be connected in 10th standard also. I mean, at the end of this, there is a screen. There is a screen here. We call this screen as retina. What is the name of our natural screen? So the screen name is called as retina. Have you heard this word, dear children? Retina.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Have you
Yes,
heard
Yes,
the
yes,
word
sir.
sir.
retina? Retina is like our screen, natural screen. Now this light has entered. So whatever light has come here, no, dear children, that light has entered his eyes, and here there is retina, right? So on this retina, there are some cells called photoreceptor cells. What are they? They are called as photoreceptor cells. Photo means what? The meaning of photo is light, and receptor means recepting, receiving. Okay, photoreceptor cells. Whenever, I mean, this light is received by these cells, these get activated. These cells get activated. Now once these cells get activated, what these cells does, you know, dear children, these cells send the message to the brain through nerve cells. There are some cells called nerve cells. Have you heard the term nerves? Have you heard the
Yes,
term
Yes,
sir.
nerves? All of you? Yes, so there are
Yes,
something
sir.
called nerve cells. Through these nerve cells, the message is sent to brain. Message is sent to brain. Are you understanding the situation? Here is the snake, dear children. Here is a snake, a light is falling on it, and when light has fallen on it, it got reflected, it entered your eyes, and here is the retina. In the retina, we have photoreceptor cells, they get activated. Through the nerve cells, the message is sent to the brain. Now, in brain also, there are so many cells, right? In brain, there are so many nerve cells, so many kinds of cells are there, no? So many kinds of cells, so many are there. So all those kind of cells, this brain, no, it sends a message to your leg. It sends message to your leg. Yes or no? In leg, there are what kind of muscles, what kind of cells are there? Muscle cells are there in the
muscle.
leg or not? Muscle cells are there or not?
Yes,
Yes or no? So these muscle cells are there. So these muscle cells will contract and expand. What they do, dear children? The task of these muscle cells, I mean, they become big. I mean, you have seen the biceps, right? Biceps of a person. You understand the meaning of biceps? No, all these
Yes, sir.
bodybuilders and all they have. So
yes, sir.
somebody will be having big biceps and all, and somebody is having, I mean, smaller biceps. Muscle cells means they can contract and they can expand. Contract and expand. Now look at this. There are so many kinds of cells. No, here photoreceptor cells I have told, and here I have told nerve cells. Again in brain, so many kinds of cells are there. So brain is going to send message to this leg, that is muscle cells, through what cells? Through nerve cells only. No, so nerve cells are going to take the message. Nerve cells only will be taking message from this photoreceptor cells to brain, and brain to leg also. These nerve cells are like connecting wires, just like in electric circuit. In electric home circuit we have wires, no? So like that our body is connected with this all these nerve cells. So these nerve cells will bring the message to leg that those are muscle cells, and they will contract and they may expand. That's why this boy, what he does, with the mere sense of fear, he goes back due to movement of his leg. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
So fundamentally, what is happening here? Fundamentally, what happens? Fundamentally, all these activities are happening, and all these cells are working together so that this boy goes out. This boy goes, I mean, goes out as in goes back. That means, don't you think this is the cell is the functional unit of all organisms? Don't you think cells are the functional unit of this boy?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes or no?
Yes,
They are
sir.
helping this boy to do all the function, no? I mean, he is seeing through his cells in the eyes, and he is recognizing this snake through the cells. What are there in his eyes? They are photoreceptor cells, and that photoreceptor cells send the message to the brain through the nerve cells, and this brain is able to send some other signal to the leg, to the muscle cells through nerve cells. Don't you think all these cells are helping this boy to function?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes
sir.
or no? So can
Yes,
I
sir.
call this cell as the functional unit of all organisms? Can I call it as functional unit of all organisms?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Are you understanding my point? Not only functional unit. So we come to the definition of cell. So we have come to the definition of cell. So what is the definition of cell, dear children? The definition of cell says structural and functional. Structure. Everybody write this. Structural and functional unit. Structural and functional unit of all organisms, all living organisms. Structural and functional unit of all living organisms is called, okay, all living organisms is called cell. Is called cell. Now you must be wondering what is the meaning of this structural and functional unit of all living organisms. You can just say all organisms. Whenever I say organism, that must be living only, no? So we talk about all these living cells only. Structural and functional unit of all living organisms is called cell. So let's break into this definition, and let us see some more modules here. So I have prepared one module by taking source from so many places. So this document will also be sent to you so that you feel confident about all these things. And we have our branding, and you know about Kalparuksha classes. In Kalparuksha classes, we follow step-by-step process to build all the concepts. So we are following this step-by-step process. We do this starting from your ninth standard, and we take you in this beautiful journey of all these PCMB concepts up to 12th standard. And always we follow step-by-step process. Whenever we are teaching the concepts of ninth standard, we make it sure that we are teaching you 10th standard as well as 11th standard topics wherever they are necessary, because this is the fundamental course, right? This is a foundation course what we are running. This is not some tuition class or a normal class what we are trying to run here just to teach you this ninth standard syllabus. This is a foundation for all your national level competitions like NEET, then IIT JEE, then NDA, then for your CET. So these exams, whenever you come across all these exams in the future, this strong foundation given by Kalparuksha classes will be of great help. So it's not an, I mean, a normal coaching class to complete your syllabus. It's not a normal coaching class. Okay, it is a foundational coaching class, which is going to provide all foundation for all basement for all your competitive exams. Now, getting into the syllabus, wherever the logo comes, I'll be telling a little bit about Kalpariksha classes, because it is an emotion with which you should be linked with to learn all these concepts. All right, dear children. Now look at this. When you look at this body, no, what are these? Do you feel like all these are bones, dear children? These are bones, right? These are
Yes,
bones here,
sir.
no? So
Yes, sir.
whatever are there, so they are the bones. Now, don't you think those bones are made up of cells only? Those bones, whatever bones are there, no, they are also made up of cells, right? So all these bones are made up of cells or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes or no? So now all these, I mean, bones. Now look at this. What are these? Whatever are shown here, no? Don't you think they are muscles, dear children? They are muscles, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes
sir.
or no? So they're all muscles, and those muscles are also made up of cells, right?
Yes,
Yes or
sir.
no?
Yeah.
Now look at this. What are these? This is like our brain, and this is like our, I mean, lungs and all. Our heart is here. Look at this. I mean, heart is also there. You can zoom in and you can see this. All this, I mean, functioning of a heart and all, you will be studying in 10th standard. Now this heart is there. Here lungs are there, and we have a stomach also. We have all these large intestine, small intestine. We have rectum. So all these organs, whatever organs are there, no, dear children, whatever body organs are there, don't you feel like they're also made up of cells?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So
Yes, sir.
all of these things are made up of cells, no? So our body is made up of cells, right? That means whatever structure of our body is there, structure of our body is made up of cells or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And all these together, they do all the functions, no? So that's why we call it as a structural and functional unit of all organisms, right? All living organisms. That's why we're calling cell as a structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Is it clear, dear children?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, all right, fine. So that's why I wrote the definition. What is the definition I wrote? The definition I wrote, a structural and functional unit of all living organisms, is called cell. I hope it should be clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now whenever we talk cells, no, we have different kinds of cells, right, dear children? We are going to have all different kinds of cells, because we are going to study about all different kinds of cells in this, and we are going to study about parts of cells, different kinds of cells. So what are the kinds of cells you know? Tell me, what are the kinds of cells you know, dear children? Different kinds of cells. Yes, tell me. I mean, can I say bone cells? Can I say bone
Yes.
cells, dear children?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
bones, because bones are made up of strong cells. These are very strong in nature, no? Yes or no? These are having that kind of nature. Now, can I say nerve cells, dear children? Nerve cells?
Yes.
Yes, nerve
Yes, sir.
cells. And have you heard the term like fat cells? Fat cells? Yes, a fat
Yes,
is there
sir.
in our body, right? Fat cells. Then have you heard the term like sperm cells? Have you heard this term sperm cells, which is like the
Yes, sir.
male reproductive cells? Okay, and have you heard the terms like ovum cells? Have you heard this ovum cells, dear children? And have you
Yes,
heard
sir.
like red blood cells, RBC, red blood cells? Have you heard this? Red blood cells. And have you heard like
White blood
WBC,
cells.
white blood cells? And have you heard like
Yes, sir.
platelets? Have you heard like
Yes, sir.
platelets? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So like that, how many kinds of cells are there, dear children? There are so many kinds of cells or not? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Now we talked about the photoreceptor cell also. That is also one kind of cell. And in that photoreceptor cells, we have another type, two types of cells. They are called as cone cells and rod cells. Yes or no? Cone cells. Then we have rod cells. Okay. So that is too much depth of the syllabus. I will come to that also. Cone cells, rod cells. Like that, there are innumerable number of cells which we are going to study. All right, dear children.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now, when you look into this diagram, here you are going to have different kinds of cells here. Look at this, dear children. Nerve cells look something like this. The structure of this, all the naming and all you will study in 10th standard. All right. So nerve cells look like this because this has to transport, no? What is the main task of this nerve cell? Nerve cell has to transport the message, no? Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
no?
Yes, sir.
It has to transport the
Yes,
message.
sir.
Now I mean, this is called as nucleus. I will come to that nucleus also. Now this has to pass the message. That's why it is the longest cell in human body. Longest cell in human body is a nerve cell. It transports the data. It transports the messages. It transports the stimulus. That is called a stimulus. We use one word called stimulus. So what is the meaning of stimulus? Stimulus means some reaction. All right, dear children.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now look at this red blood cells. What is the task of this red blood cells? This red blood cells, I mean, whatever oxygen is there, no? So whatever oxygen is there in the lungs, because we take oxygen, no? So oxygen from those lungs will be taken to all parts of body. So whatever parts of your body are there, no? To all those parts, the oxygen from these lungs will be taken to all parts of the body from red blood cells only. And whatever CO2 your body organs do work, no, they produce CO2, right? So from all the body organs, it will take to the lungs. Okay, so this is like a carrier. This is like the carrier of O2 and CO2. From the lungs, it will be taking O2 and it will be giving it to body parts, and it will be taking CO2 from all body parts and it is bringing it to lungs so that it is sent out through the process of breathing. So don't you feel red blood cells are very, very important?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? And it is red in color because it is having a pigment called hemoglobin. It is having one pigment called hemoglobin. Because of that only it is red in color. All right, dear children.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now there is something called white blood cells. So these white blood cells are like warriors, right? They give you immunity or not? Yes or no? If something comes
Yes, sir.
from the outside, a virus or bacteria or something like that, these will take them and these fight against all those external cells and all, and they give you immunity. They boost up your immunity. So these are like acting like warriors in your body. White blood cells, don't you think they are very, very important?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now look at this bone cell. This is the structure of bone cell. Look at this smooth muscle cell. I mean, these are, you, if somebody is a non-vegetarian, you must have observed in the chicken or the mutton, this kind of muscle cells. Okay, smooth muscle cells. They will be there in your
Yes,
body.
sir.
Now these muscle cells can contract. They can contract and they can expand. Don't you think this kind of cells is going to contract and expand? It is going to increase its size, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes or no? Now look at this. This is the fat cell. What we have here is the fat cell. This is how it looks like. Okay, I mean it can store all kinds all fat inside this. Now this is a sperm cell. Look at this. This is a sperm cell, and this is a ovum cell. Now this is the male reproductive cell. This is going to enter into the ovum, and it is going to fertilize the ovum, and we are going to have something called zygote, which we will study in 10th standard. Okay, that is also one more cell, zygote. Have you heard the term zygote, all of you?
Yes, sir.
No?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes, a
sir.
zygote is formed once a sperm cell fertilizes a worm cell. Don't you think all these cells together, they work together, they form all the organs in our body structurally, and they help in doing all the function? Now tell me, cells are the structural and functional unit of our life or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
So now I will give you one assignment here. Now you have to do this. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Whatever cells I have written here, no, bone cells, nerve cells, fat cells, sperm cells, ovum cells, all these cells, will you write their characteristics, dear children, by searching on multiple sources and by asking your friends, asking your brothers, sisters, and seniors? Will you write all the
Yes,
characteristics
sir.
and what they do, their functions? Will you
Yes,
write?
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, all right. The functions, whatever functions of all cells, so whatever different functions are there, no functions and characteristics, functions and characteristics of all cells, characteristics of all cells I have mentioned, all cells, at least the cells, whatever I have mentioned. So you write them. So this is the homework for you. Will you do this, dear children?
Yes, sir.
When we should submit them?
Yes, sir.
No, today only.
Ye-
By today evening, you should submit it. Everyone should do this. Today's work it is. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All
In
right.
our
So
sir.
moving forward, dear children, moving forward. Look at this. I mean, this structural and functional unit I have told you. Now look at this. Don't you think this boy and this cat, this dog, buffalo. This is buffalo or cow? This is cow, no? So this
Cow, sir.
cow, goat, elephant, horse, and this sunflower plant and this big tree. All these are having cells or not? All
Yes,
these are
sir.
having cells.
Yes, sir.
These are having cells, and how many cells are there? There are so many cells in these organisms. So that's why we call them as a multicellular organism. What we call them? Multicellular organisms. Now, can you write a definition for multicellular organisms, dear children? Can you write a definition for this multicellular organisms? It's very simple, no? An organism made up of more than one cell is called multicellular organisms. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Correct or
sir.
not? So please write down this definition: multicellular organism. Simple definition. We are building all these concepts step by step. No. So multicellular organisms. So multicellular organism. So write the definition for multicellular organism. So what is that? An organism, an organism made up of made up of more than more than one cell, more than one cell is called multicellular organism, is called multicellular organism. I think it is clear. Now can you write one more definition, dear children? Unicellular organisms. Have you heard these terms or not in your junior classes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unicellular unicellular organisms, and you can write a lot of example for this multicellular organisms. What are the examples for multicellular organisms? The examples for multicellular organisms are human beings, yes or no, whatever I have shown in the pictures, no, and horse, okay, elephant, all these are the examples. Now unicellular organisms means, dear children, look at this. Have you heard these terms called bacteria? I mean, there is something called bacteria and paramecium. Have you heard these words, dear children? Have you heard the word like amoeba?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Have you
sir.
heard the
Yes,
word
sir.
amoeba? Amoeba is a starred. I mean, if I say amoeba is a star shaped, is it correct or not? Is it a true
No,
statement or wrong statement? Amoeba is
wrong,
a
Yes,
sir.
sir.
star shaped. It is star shaped. Okay, is it true or false?
False.
True, sir.
No, no, it is true. No, no, no. Don't say false. It is a true statement. Yes, and amoeba is not having any shape. No, I mean no shape. I mean amoeba can be anything, anyhow. No, I mean it can be like this, or it can be like this also. No, dear children. It can be
Yes,
like the.
sir.
I mean, how does a star look like? When I saw the amoeba, so I felt like it was a star. I'm not getting how to draw the star. Okay, you can draw the star as you want. So when I looked, I mean, it was looking like a star. Can I say like that?
Yes, sir.
Can I say like that
Yes,
or
sir.
not? So now tell me, amoeba is a star shaped or not? When I looked, I mean, it
Yes,
was
sir.
having, yeah, amoeba is having only star shape means it is wrong. Amoeba is star shaped means this statement becomes true or not, dear children? Tell me, this is a true statement or
Yes,
not?
sir.
Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
So now bacteria and this paramecium, amoeba, all these whatever are there, no, they are having only single cell. In this single, through this single cell only, they do all their activities, everything, reproduction, then nutrition. Nutrition means taking in of food. Okay, I mean feeding, excretion, all. I mean this reproduction, so whatever kind of things are there, everything is going to happen through this only one single cell. So that's why they are called as what, dear children? They are called as unicellular organisms. Right, dear children?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So will you write the definition for these unicellular organisms? So what are unicellular organisms? An organism, an organism with only one cell, with only one cell is called unicellular organism, is called unicellular organism. What are the examples for unicellular organisms, dear children? The examples are going to be amoeba. You have heard this word amoeba, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Yes, sir.
amoeba and so few, I mean some bacteria. Now virus I'm not including
Archaea.
because yes, that is not a cell. Bacteria is so virus is not a cell. It is a nucleoid. I will come to that later. And paramecium. Yes, so these are the examples for your unicellular organisms. Clear, dear children? Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, I hope it should be very, very clear. So about this multicellular and unicellular organisms. Now look at this. So now who found out cell? Who discovered cell? There was a scientist called Robert Hooke. What is his name? If a question comes, who discovered cell? So what you are going to say? Cells were discovered by Robert Hooke. All right. Now here is a picture of Robert Hooke. Now how he found out these cells, how he discovered these cells, that's an interesting story. So discovery of cells. So whatever discovery of cells is there, so whatever I'm writing here also, no. So those things also try to make notes. Okay, dear children. Are you
Yes,
guys
sir.
making those notes also? Okay, those notes also you're supposed to make. Okay. Now what he did, dear children, who discovered cell? Who discovered cell?
Robert Hook.
Robert Hooke.
Robert
Robert.
Robert Hooke discovered cells. Okay. Now here is a picture. Now he used one microscope. This is the Hooke's microscope. He used this microscope. The structure of this microscope and all you are going to study in 12th standard. Okay. How does a microscope looks like, all this structure and all. But when you come to school, we'll try to show you this microscope, not the Hooke's microscope, normal microscope, whatever is there in the lab. So let me look into the science lab also. Let us get into detailing of all these things, and let us do that. How he discovered cells, no, dear children? He took something called, this top of this tree. Look at this. I mean, this is called bark, right? This is called as bark,
Yes,
no?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Bark of the tree. Okay, so he took, little bit bark of that tree, and actually this bark of tree, whatever it is there, no, it was used to make something called corks. Why they were used? They were used to make something called corks. Look at this. This is called as cork. So cork means these were used to, close the top of this glass bottle. This is a glass bottle, dear children. So whatever glass bottles are there, no, to close them, they used to make this caps of this bark, and that was called as cork. Have you heard this cork term, dear children, before?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, this cork. Look at this. This is made up of wood. This cork is whatever it is there, no. So this thing is made up of wood. Okay. So it is made up of wood, and that is used to close these glass bottles. Okay. So keeping that aside, so when he saw into this bark, dear children, so this bark of the tree, he observed something like this. He observed something like this. Look at this. This is like one unit, and this is like another unit, and this is like another unit. Now look at this. Can you see some building blocks like this? Some small blocks
Yes,
like
sir.
this?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you are seeing all these blocks, no? So for these blocks only, he named the term. He called it a cell. Why he named it a cell? No, all these Christian fathers are there. No, Christian missionaries are there. So all these Christian saints, they used to live in small rooms. They used to live in small rooms, and those small rooms were called as cells. Those, I mean, this jail also. When you get into the prison, they are called as cell. No. Yes or
Yes,
no? Have
sir.
you heard
Yes,
this
sir.
term or not? They are called as cell. So they used to live in these small rooms. So all these small compartments, whatever compartments are there, so for them he called it a cell. Right, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now, if they ask you who discovered cells, so what you are going to say? The cells were discovered by Robert Hooke. And they will ask you one more term. So one more question. Who coined the term cell? Who coined the term cell? So then what you are going to say? You are going to say Robert Hooke only. All right, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There is another person who termed this, who coined this term, who found out this, but you are going to say Robert Hooke only. All right, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's move on to this. I mean, now you have seen these are like the different kind of cells. Now I mean, these are the compartments, small compartments. Now, don't you think you can also see the cells in all the organisms, whatever organisms are there, whatever plants are there, vegetables are there? Do you think you can see the cells in them?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, there is one
Right.
simple experiment here. There is one simple experiment here. So what is this? This is an onion, right, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
when you peel this onion, when you take it out, look at this. This is a shape what we are going to get here. Inside this, no, there will be small, I mean, thin layers. Have you observed? I mean, today you can observe that there are some
Yes,
thin
sir.
layers in onion. No?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
It is made up of different layers, and all thick layers are there. But inside this, when you just, uh, just, pick it out. So, I mean, inside this, look at this. There are some thin layers, and this device, whatever they are using, this is called as forceps. What is the name of this? Forceps.
Four
So
steps.
forceps means, yes, this is like on a small instrument with sharp edges like this, and we are going to hold this and we are going to pick that out. Pick that as a
I
thin
also.
layer. So whatever thin, yes, good, very good. You can send me the picture after the class in the group. So whatever this thin layer is there, so that will be picked out. And once it is picked out, and here is one setup to see the cells, dear children. Here is a setup, okay? So let us have a look at this setup. So look at this setup. So whatever this, this is made up of glass. This a big rectangular structure is there, no? So this is made up of glass, and this one is known as a glass slide. What is the name of this? Glass slide.
Last side.
Glass slide. Okay, and we are going to take that whatever this onion thin layer is there. No, we are going to take a small layer of that, and it has become colored here. No, we are going to add some pigment. We are going to add some pigment. Pigment means color. Do you know this, dear children? Color. Pigment means color. All right.
Any color
So
we
Yes,
we
can
sir.
are
add,
going
sir.
to, no, not any color. There are some colors which are used in labs. So one of such colors is called saffronin. One of such color is called as saffronin. Like that, there are so many pigments. They are not called as actually colors. They are called as a pigment, coloring agents. Pigment means they are coloring agents. Okay, any color you cannot put. There are some colors called pigments. Some chemicals are there which are going to color the cells inside this. They are going to color the parts of the cell inside this cell. There are going to be so many parts. No, it's parts of the cell. You must have heard about nucleus, mitochondria, lysosomes, then Golgi apparatus, like that, ribosomes, like that. So many parts are there. So many, they are called as cell organelles. Have you heard the name? Have you heard the term organelles?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
many of, I don't know, many of you heard it or not. Organelles means whatever parts of cells are there, they are called as organelles. We'll come to this also. So those organelles, different parts will be colored differently by using same pigment, whatever pigment is there, according to their chemical composition. Nucleus is having some other characteristics, mitochondria is having some other characteristics. So according to the characteristics of all those parts, this pigment is going to color them differently, so that that will be observed very clearly. Is it understood? Pigment means, is it a normal color, dear children?
Yes, sir.
No, no. Pigment is not a normal color. It's a chemical which is going to color different parts of the cell differently according to their, chemical nature and all. Clear, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is everyone understanding whatever I'm saying, dear children? Is it getting interesting,
Yes, sir.
the chapter?
Yes, sir.
I mean, everybody should respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So this is known as a glass slide, and whatever is there, this is onion peel. This is called as onion peel, colored onion peel. It is pigmented onion peel. So whatever is there inside that, that is pigmented onion peel. And this one is known as cover slip. This is also made up of thin glass only. So it is called as cover slip. So we are going to place it above this. Now we are going to place this, okay, by using a needle or by using our hand also we can place this out. So this will be closed like this. Look at this. Now is it closed or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, dear children. So we are
Yes,
going to
sir.
close this, okay, by using this cover slip. Now we are going to observe this in microscope. Now here is the microscope. What we use, this is called as compound microscope. Don't worry about the structure of this. This is called a compound microscope. We are going to keep this slide where there will be a lens here. So below this, we are going to keep it here. Then we are going, not here, I mean here. Here is the lens, right? Here is the platform, right? You can see this platform now. So here on this platform, we are going to place it. Then by using this lens, we are going to see this through our eyes through this lens. Clear, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, when it was observed, so when it was observed, the cells were seen like this. The cells were seen like this. Now look at this. This is like one block, right, dear children? This is one block, and this is like a one more compartment, one more block. Now, don't you think these structures are just like the bark of that wood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, at the center, there is something which is in blue color that is called as a nucleus. What is this nucleus? The center part of every cell. Just as we have the nucleus in our atoms also, no? Like we have central part in every cell also that is known as nucleus. Understood, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Clear? So
Yes,
these
sir.
are called as nucleus. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, these are the cells of what? These are the cells of onion. All right, dear children. So these are all the cells of onion. Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I hope these things are very clear now. Now moving forward, now look at this. There are some detailing about this. Cells were discovered by whom, dear children? Cells were discovered by Robert Hooke, right?
Robert Hooke.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Robert Hooke in 1665. Can just make a note of all these things. And all these living cells, now whatever were there in that cork, no, or that bark, they were like dead cells. So that covering was dead. Now these living cells are in the onion. So those living cells were first observed by a biologist called Van Leeuwenhoek in 1674. Look at this, 1665 to 1674 means it is a gap of nearly about 9 years. So after 9 years, he discovered, Van Leeuwenhoek discovered living cells. If somebody asks you who discovered living cells, so what you are going to say? You are going to say Van Leeuwenhoek, right, dear children?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
please make a note of these things. Then after this living cells, there were two young biologists. They are called as Sladen and Swan. Their name is Sladen and Swan in 1838 and 1839. They gave one theory, and they said cells are the basic building blocks of all living things. Whatever living things are there, so cells are the basic building blocks of all living things. So they gave this. Sladen and Swan. If they ask you what is the statement of Sladen and Swan, then you should be right. They gave a theory by saying cells are the basic building blocks of all living things. Understood, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then after that, in 1855, look at the journey of this. It started from 1665, it came to 1674, then in 1885, 1855. So almost after how many years? Almost nearly about 180 years. After 180 years, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So nearly about after this 180 years, Rudolf Virchow he found cells arises from free existing cells. Whatever are there before only, from those free existing cells only, all these new cells are coming in our body. Also, all these new cells are coming. No, we are getting. We are increasing our body size. No, when we are born, we are very small. Now we have become big, right? So now do you think like all these cells have come from outside? Somebody has put the cells inside our body? No, right? From these all free existing cells only new cells have come or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that was discovered by Rudolf Virchow in 1855. Rudolf Virchow found cells arise from free existing cells, and he gave one theory. The name of the theory is a cell theory, and they will ask you who gave cell theory. Who gave cell theory? Tell me, who gave cell theory, dear children? Who gave cell theory? The answer is, tell me, what is the answer for this? Rudolf Virchow. Rudolf Virchow gave cell theory. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now they will ask you what are the highlights of cell theory? What are the highlights? Write the points of cell theory. Highlights of cell theory, they will ask you. The highlights of cell theory are very, very simple. Whatever we have studied till now, those things only you are supposed to write. What is the first point of cell theory? The first point of cell theory is all living organisms are composed of one or more cells. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
One cell means that is called as unicellular, and more cells it is a multicellular. Now second thing was the cell is the basic unit of structure and organization. Organization means functioning only. Organization means functional only. Okay, nothing different. The cell is the basic unit of structure. Structure means I have explained what is the structure. Structure and organization means function only. Structure and organization in all organisms. So this is the basic unit in all the organisms. For this structure and organization, that is functioning. And he gave third point, that is cell arises from free existing cells. So these are the three important points of cell theory. Understood, dear children?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Did you understand cell? Did you understand cell theory, dear children? I hope
Yes, sir.
everybody is clear. Can
Yes.
you read it clearly? Whatever is written here. Is it possible for you to zoom in and write all of it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This document will also reach to you. Now inside this cell, what is there? Now we have understood everything about cell. No, inside the cell, what is there? Yes or no? How is the plant cell different from animal cell? Plants are also there. They are also having cells. Okay, animals are there also having the cells. What is the difference between these plant cells and animal cells? And what inside the cell, there are so many things. Whatever cell is there inside this, there is something called nucleus. There is something called mitochondria. Like that, so many things are floating around in the cell. And whatever membrane of this cell is there, no, outside whatever membrane is there, so that is called a cell membrane. So what are the characteristics of cell membrane? What this membrane is made up of? And inside this there is one fluid. Okay, inside this there is one fluid, and inside, the nucleus is there. So many organelles, whatever are floating around, no, those are called as organelles. What are the different organelles, and what are their characteristics, what are their work, how they are made? So all those things will be discussed in the next class, dear children. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I hope you guys enjoyed the first session regarding this cells, and now I'll stop the recording. Then I'll be talking to you. So I'm stopping the recording. So thank you very much for joining this first session, and we'll carry forward the second session. Have a good day. Bye bye.